Brittany.
I understand.
Hello. On this episode of Vintage Vanderpump Rules, Jax better make Brittany a sandwich.
Mm-hmm.
Tequila Katie is now the HBIC. Such a bitch. It's just like casual Thursdays. And Brittany's mom is a giant homophobe.
I'm not really sure what I've done to you, but I'll take a Pinot Grigio.
Welcome, everyone. This is Vanderpump Rules, Season 5, Episode 12, Jax's Roast. And boy, a roast it is. I'm Sunday, pop culture professor, self-proclaimed expert on reality TV and pop culture. Real heavy on the self-proclaimed, but I'm learning new things every episode. So,
And I'm Jeff, who was a former Bravo noob. So at one point they were all new things. But as we get farther and farther in, boy, I sure enjoy what I get to learn and how these folks are treating each other as friends. It's wonderful to watch unfold.
Speaking of you as a noob, you did sit in with me yesterday, or I guess by the time y'all hear this, last week, on our second and last Real Housewives of Orange County episode, because Emily was, off in the streets drinking mimosas. And we talked a lot about archetypes and tropes that show put into place, sort of invented, kind of like the Alfred Hitchcock of the Bravo world. Invented a lot of conventions that we see a lot of in our Vanderpump Rules. And Scheana lived up to several of the archetypes that we set forth in our show last week. These girls are really checking the box. So I feel really good about that academic look we took at OC.
Yeah, no, and some things we talked about, kind of sparked up when I was watching this episode. So, the shit stir is going to stir some shit. That kind of thing is just going to happen.
For sure. And also look for our upcoming coverage of Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip. I think that is coming very soon. Jeff and I's coverage of the House of Stassi is on the precipice. That's sort of the end of the month. But also Nolan and I are very close, this close to getting to the third episode of McBee Dynasty, because those folks are criminals and we are really enjoying it. She is not as voracious of a watcher as I am. Anyway, to remind, Katie sucks at assisting. Brittany's mom here, so it means no sex and no pooping. Lala tries to quit unsuccessfully. Ariana, air quote, ruins the shower she was invited to amicably by everyone involved. And we pick up at Sir, which we always have to see some kind of like LVP playing at working. She's like, move these bottles around, slutty glasses, calculator, type, blah, 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 right? And,
especially with Jax, I'll move a bottle around. I can do that.
I stand by my supposition that they maybe have smashed in the past. I stand by that. There's too much crackling sexual chemistry there to say they've never rolled around.
Okay, we're not both in on that one. We're splitting on that one too. I
think there's enough empirical evidence to make an assertion, but Scheana just can't help it. I think that she has kind of locked into like, this is the only way she can be on this show. And I'm not talking about like the legit interpersonal relationships that are happening. I'm thinking in her brain, she's like, okay, this is how I stay relevant on this show. This is how people root for me and tune in, because she tattles about this text with money, about money. Now, I am of two minds about this. That is a lot of money to spend, and having been involved in wedding parties before, it can become very, very expensive. And the idea that they're wanting to like spend several grand on just the shower, we're not even talking the bachelorette party, we're not talking about anything like that, and that ostensibly Scheana was not in on that conversation, is tough. That's hard. I mean, it's not even really about whether they can afford it or not. It's just about like the principle of the matter. And
I really would like to know, did Scheana actually say, like, because all she had to do was just, I am not in on this. I do not agree to this. I will not pay this. And I don't think she did. I think she just kind of scooted around everything, and now she's going to run tell Lisa on them. And I agree with you. Like, that's her role she's picking, but I think she's picked horribly.
Well, what I imagine happened, because I have been part of this kind of scenario before, is that Scheana's like, oh, I want to be in on it. So like, okay, fine. And then so Stassi and Kristen made all of the plans, did not loop her in, did not ask her anything. And then when it came time for the bill, they sent out a text and was like, okay, this is what you owe. Because Scheana was even like, oh my God, how much did Taco Bell cost? That is a very, very common dynamic that shakes out in bridal parties. And I thank God, I said it on the podcast the other day, but like, thank God I'm aged out of that, because I think that culture has gotten worse and worse and worse. So like, yeah, we're going to Spain for 2 weeks for the bachelorette party. Like, nobody can afford that.
No,
I can't do it.
No.
But then we pop to Pampered at the Disco, and he is upside down doing his like Batman, visualizing his outfit because it's his birthday. And listen, it is real convenient that they film during the time that it's everybody's birthday. It's Sandoval's, Jax's, Ariana's. I believe Stassi's is like a couple of weeks before. Like, they're all cancers. I think that they are all just like...
Yeah, Stassi and Ariana are real close. Jax and Tom real close in birthdays. Yeah.
So it's
Peter
like
doesn't have a
summer.
birthday, obviously.
Yeah, Peter
no one recognizes.
I think he does, but like, don't tell me to remember.
He does. We've seen it. We've seen it a couple times. Yeah.
They're having a fun rager. Is that a play on words to what phrase? Like a
fundraiser?
A fundraiser. Okay, there you go. I could not. Rager was stuck in my head, and so I was thinking, like, what is the phrase that they're playing on? Fundraiser. Got it. Check. And it's for Haiti.
Yeah.
And they're going to, like, I don't know, poor kids in Haiti or something. They're going to buy them a meal or buy them some school supplies. I don't know.
Well, there was a major earthquake in 2016 in Haiti. Yeah.
Yeah. So this particular one is for food, I guess. But they are going to enlist their braid guy. He's got a braid guy. And, sure. And Ariana puts the finest point on, finer than I could. Just freaking learn to braid each other's hair. YouTube existed. Y'all could absolutely learn it, because I can't even imagine how much of an LA braid guy. And they have 2 separate braid guys.
Well, Ariana has multiple braid people. So we're really getting a squad here. Yeah.
I guess depending on what culture she's appropriating at any given moment. So this is supposed to be a whole week of debauchery. Jax's roast is coming up too. They're going to do the fundraiser and then Jax's roast, which hosted by Kristen? ?
They quickly say, like, she'll be the main punchline. Yeah. Why is she doing this? And I couldn't agree more. And I couldn't be more excited.
I mean, Jeff, I have so many questions around this freaking roast. Number one, Kristen, she apparently has some pretty tough skin. Like, she has a very thick skin, right? Why would they do this in front of Brittany's mother? I have much more to say about that later, but like, this just seems so ill-timed.
Well, I bet that's a coincidence. Doing? Yeah, I bet that's just a coincidence they couldn't work around. And I think the thick skin is just part of the shamectomy. I think it's a 2-in-1 operation you have. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I have some suggestions for what they could have done with Sherry instead of inviting her to that roast, but I'll save it for a little bit though. But of course,
Kristen texted Tom about his birthday the day of his party and then was like, oh yeah, I'll take an invite while you're handing them out. Sure.
Well, Ariana says, listen, if you're not going to come and donate, what a douchebag you are. So, okay. And Katie's got to go back to the paint store because all of the samples she gave, which in her defense, dirty pink feels vague. I'm not too sure I'd be able to pick out what LVP wanted. But
just grab them. Just grab all the pinks you see. I mean, I'm grabbing. If LVP's sending me, like, here's 12 pages of them, if you know it so well. Well, I mean, she's essentially bringing the store to her, which is all she needs to happen. Like,
yes, but I think that she wanted Katie to sort of like narrow it so she didn't have so much of the process. So, and that's just sort of, shooting herself in the foot either way. Like, if she brought all of them, she'd get in trouble if she didn't bring enough or she brought the wrong ones, whatever. But we figure out that the day before was the shower. Maybe not figure out, but also too when they're broad daylight, El Coyote
Right.
lunch where they're doing shots, and Schwartz, he's so funny sometimes because he's like, yeah, man, I think our server roofied us, which is funny because he's bleary-eyed, can't get himself together, which all kind of coalesces in this moment where they're arguing about who was more shit-faced and who was more disgusting and who was more accountable, and it winds up with him just being like, God, you're such a bitch. That's fighting words right
He says
there.
it twice too. Like, you know how I always
Many
like when
times.
a little, underline, because he's like, you are such a bitch, dude. You are such a bitch. Like 1 month before they're getting married. This
Mhm.
shit would not fly around lots of people. I do get a nice little look at their text. That's fun to see.
Yeah, my favorite part was when he wrote, "Get a grip, girl."
I liked that you for helping 0%.
Well, she's
But
just
yeah,
like,
I mean, he's like, we didn't, this fight's over nothing. Like, I don't know. It's not, this is again where I do not dislike Katie the most. I do not dislike Schwartz the most, despite the perma chump all around. Like, I do not like the two of them together. It
right.
is just getting old, at this point. There's not even like a moment of cutesiness in a while. Like, it's just
It's
the argument.
hard. I mean, it is, and it's really hard to see them like colliding and then hurtling towards an even bigger explosion that we ultimately know is going to happen. But, I've had a scenario very similar to this in which I was on a date with a person and that he and I were having a conversation around politics and ideology. And he was like, "Oh my God, something, something, you're such a bitch." I did. I just I put my silverware down. I got up, got an Uber and went home.
Yeah, I like how
Because
she handles it here also.
yeah. Well, she does like circle the block and be like, yeah, I'm not letting you get in the car and be call an Uber, dude. Like it would have been much more punctuated if she had just like balled some tires out of the parking lot. She could have shown him a little bit more strident anger, but whatever. The camera was there,
Okay,
so she had to make that point.
that's a little.
I'm just saying, he called her a bitch in front of these people. Like he gets what he gets. He should have got an open-handed slap right across the face, but whatever.
I wouldn't have minded it at all.
Me either. Me either. But then we go to Busby's, which is. Do we know this place? Because I
No,
thought
I didn't recognize it.
Okay, because the way James was talking about it, I was thinking that like this was Arthur's place, but then he said the name of Arthur's place later, like the Red Berry or whatever. So,
Right.
but Peter watches football here every week. We wouldn't know because we never see Peter outside of Sir, so we don't fucking know what Peter does. But Ariana and Tom are like walking up looking like Bond villains. They are so chic, and I love this so much. Even with her ratty brother messing up the frame of it, they just looked so cool and very chic. And I mean, listen, I think Tom should probably find himself a new braid guy. That was a real loose, sloppy braid. But the folks are arriving. They're donating. Katie and Schwartz, they're all set. Everything's fine. You're a bitch. Fuck off. Get an Uber. They worked it out.
It's a casual Thursday for him. That's totally fine.
Thursday.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hate his fucking face. He thinks this all shucks attitude is just really charming, and it's not. It's infuriating. You are not a toddler, and you cannot rely on this navel gazing forever. People see through that. And what is so infuriating to me is that nobody sees through it yet on this show except for Katie. And then they villainize Katie for calling her, and by calling her Tequila Katie when she reacts to this man. Who knows what he's calling her and what he's saying to her and how he is manipulating her emotionally when the cameras are not around. She's the only one. Now, I will fault her for staying with him, but still, everybody is still being fooled by him, and that is so frustrating.
Also, he never just said, later on, she's saying, well, I didn't know he had been out and was shit-faced with his buddies, da-da-da, like, because he didn't say that. He's like, I can't come, he wasn't even like, I really can't help you move too much stuff right now. We've been out and da-da-da. I'm not saying that's a great excuse, but at least it's an honest thing. Like, we're out. Like, I'm not in a position to help, rather than just be like, you're a fucking horrible, disgusting bitch and you're an alcoholic and you're all this. Like,
well, I read
that's
that
rough.
different. I read that she was getting home as he was walking out on his way out. And she was like, hey, before you go, help me with the stuff. And he's like, no, I'm leaving. And just was like, fuck off. Like, that is how I read it. They were
even
like,
worse than
crossing paths. I didn't read it that she wanted him to come home.
Oh,
But
yeah.
either
If
way,
that's the
it
case, even
escalated.
worse, for sure.
Yeah, it is even worse. And then Jax and Brittany bring her mother. Now, this isn't even the most egregious thing that they brought her to, but why are they making this woman tag along? Listen, I know Jax's card got declined, but get her a night. Get her a couple of nights at a hotel. You know what I mean? Like, we know, Kentucky, we know you're tired. Here,
Yeah.
have a massage on us while we go out juking. You chill out, but whatever, because
She
I
might
guess
have
she
wanted
needs
to hang
somewhere to
out with
wear that
Peter.
with that frosted lipstick. She may have needed a place
Yeah.
to take it.
It took me a second.
Uh,
I thought he had a new girlfriend. I was like, oh, where's Sarah? Oh, that's Sherry. Hold on.
that tan is giving it away. Scheana immediately starting shit with James and Raquel. I mean,
Yeah.
this is the only time that we've seen them share a screen here. Right? It just seemed so out of place, so random. Be like, ugh, Ellie's my friend. We've been friends for 7 or 8 years. I have to stand up for her. No, you don't. Ellie
Right.
is not even a friend of this cast. We don't know her. Who cares?
Nope. Here she is, just stirring the pot. But we do find out in a few minutes why she did it. So that will come up. That will come up in just a
Yes.
minute.
James deflects calling her a DJ groupie, which I don't know. Is that a thing in 2016? I mean,
I don't know. I mean,
we know
it's just a shitty, dismissive thing to say. I mean, you're not.
yeah. Well, we know
It's not
Kyle
really.
Cook. Well, we know Kyle Cook be having the groupies. You know what I mean? Like they in 2026, Kyle is really like pulling a lot of ladies. I just didn't know if DJ culture was at the place where he was. But this is the first seed that we're going to get of how dumb Raquel is. This is going to be a thread that Scheana is sowing right now that is going to carry this is going to follow this woman through the end until season 11, that she is a dumb dummy. And so Sheena's the first to say it. And then it goes back to Stassi and Kristen. She's like, well, that was a waste of time. They sent her over there. How embarrassing for Scheana, right?
Oh, you think they sent her over there? I think she just did it on her own. And that's why she was stirring the pot. That's what she went, because she has something to go to Kristen and Stassi about. She's like, now she can talk shit about somebody else, so it's just not
but either way,
her that's a
very
problem.
Embarrassing. You know what I mean? Very embarrassing that she is like doing these tricks for her little puppet masters. Either way, it's like, oh my God, Scheana, like that's so embarrassing. Quit being so thirsty for their approval. It's embarrassing.
Also, like
we talked.
They know what to do. Like LVP gives her what LVP is telling Scheana earlier is a very nice way of saying, like, chill out about the money thing. Do not bring this up to her. Just deal with it somewhere else amongst the three of you, and you'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Stassi and Kristen both know how to do this, and that's smart. And
Stassi, I will get to this in a second, but like Stassi still perceives herself as the queen bee of this, which now it seems like Katie is kind of the direction maker. Maybe it's because it's the summer of her wedding and everybody sort of defers to the bride, which is a very weird strain of wedding culture. But this is where we talked about on our OC show about the archetype or the trope of being a mouthpiece, about how you're someone's lapdog and how you are these people are manipulating her in a way to do the things that they want done, but they don't want to seem gross about it. And whether they directly said, hey, go do this, or she did it as just a way to make them happy, it is absolutely her fulfilling that trope. Hey, look at me, look what I brought, look what I did, be my friend, I'm cool, I'm part of the cool kids. And it's not going great for her because they turn on her immediately. And when Scheana walks up to the table and she confronts them, I just noticed this, and I said this I wrote this down before Scheana said it. Kristen said, I was pissed. Stassi says, I hate fighting about money. So now Scheana has expressed some kind of dissension. She's immediately invisible. And then they turn to each other to like suss out their things with each other. Scheana ceases to exist in their brain. And she says that a little bit later, that she just feels like she doesn't have a voice. And she doesn't, because they don't care about you.
Yeah, but also Katie's coming up, so they stopped talking about it. I mean, that's the
Right.
reason they stopped talking about it. It's because Katie's coming up, and
Yeah, but they look at each other, and Kristen was like, yeah, and like they do this all the time. It's where like her existence doesn't matter enough for them to be accountable for it or to even be sorry about it, and so like who cares that Scheana is mad, and
but
that's
why
kind of
talk
the
about it?
theme.
I mean, why talk about it there with Katie? Like, all they have to say is like, we will talk about this another spot. Like, the main goal everybody except Scheana is aware of right now is like, steer this away from Katie. Do not get this
Yeah,
anywhere close to Katie. We're not saying like we're never talking about it. We don't like talking about money, sure, but that doesn't mean we're not going to. Like
yeah, but
Stassi's
I don't
even
perceive
her funny remark of the episode, like, were you raised by the wolves in Azusa? Like, because
in the
that's
mountains of Azusa
fucking
for sure.
weird to talk about right now.
In that moment, now I'm not vouching for the moment later when she actually comes right out for it, but in that moment, I don't perceive that Scheana knew Katie was walking up. I think you're right; they did shut her
Oh
down
no, she
because
didn't.
Katie was
Yeah,
walking up.
no.
Right, and so I think though because they shut her down in that moment, that's why she escalated it to Katie, which tacky as hell. That is so tacky. It's like, hey, Jeff, I bought you this present. Oh my God, you wouldn't believe how much I spent on it. And everybody else was really mad about how much we spent about it. Like, that's so tacky. And I don't love it. But
But like,
so
you and I have a
she's,
secret conversation we don't want to talk to Emily about. Like, we don't
yeah.
want her to hear it. We don't bring it up at the party that she's 6 feet away from us at. We can just handle that
Well,
on our own text or
I mean,
somewhere
I don't
else.
know.
We see each other
Maybe we do.
all the time,
I
in
mean, maybe
this
we do, but we
scenario.
just make sure she doesn't hear. But also, I'm definitely not going up to Emily and be like, oh my God, me and Jeff are really beefing about this thing we did for you. Like, that's
No.
terrible. And so that's when Sheena really kind of crosses the line. But Jax's card gets declined.
Yep.
This man is having the worst mother-in-law luck ever. His card gets declined. His car won't start, we find out
Mm-hmm.
later. The week that his future mother-in-law is there is the week they plan a roast.
Mm-hmm.
It's really just converging on him. And I will say, he's a pretty good sport about it. I will say that.
He is. Yeah.
Mm.
He's a good sport about it. And Brittany has a couple fantastic comments of her own right here. Like, I do work at Sir more than you to begin with. Like, let's just say, like, it's
Hard.
not going to be surprising if I have more money. I am also better at handling my money. And also, bitch, you go make me a sandwich now.
Make me a sandwich, for sure. She also uses the phrase THO.
Yeah.
Ever heard this phrase before? I've never heard this phrase before.
You're shitting me. I even had
No.
this. I said, how can you not know this? I have that in my notes. I've known that
I've
phrase,
never
I feel
heard of
like,
it.
since I was like 12 years old. I mean, I've used it in
Mm-mm.
kitchens, all kinds of stuff.
It is brand new to me. I don't know that phrase. I mean, I can extrapolate using context clues, but I've never heard it.
No,
I even wrote down
I can
THO
almost remember not knowing that. Yeah, I had a question mark too, but just the words, how can you not know, were in between THO and the question mark.
Now you know. Now you know. Lala MIA. Not only is she not showing up for shifts, she's not calling in, she's not answering any texts from anybody. Like, she is just like poof, a ghost. And we know where she is. She's in her rich boyfriend's house. He doesn't want her to be in front of the camera. He doesn't want people to ask around him. If he's making folks sign NDAs just to come to his house, he does not want his girlfriend on a damn reality TV show. And I am wondering contractually how this production company is allowing this to happen. How is this a thing? Right? Because, I mean, you have a job, you have to show up for things. Like, sometimes there's a lot of talk, like when we go to reunions and stuff, about how so-and-so housewife refused to film with so-and-so housewife, which is a breach of contract, right? Like, if you set up shooting days,
Yeah.
you assign, and so Lala's not showing up, not even for just Sir. How is Bravo abiding this? This seems like she's, not only is she no call, no show to her restaurant job, but she's no call, no show to Bravo.
Yeah, I'd be interested to hear that, really. I hope we do get some tidbits on that.
I follow a woman on TikTok who used to be a reality TV producer, and she gives a lot of insight about how they shoot things and about why things happen. Like, why did we get this shot over this shot? Or how come this person's back was turned to us, and it's really, really interesting. If I could think of her name, I would totally say it here, but I'll have to put it in the show notes maybe if I can.
Oh, well, cool. We'll look that up.
The lady, the lady who does the thing, Jeff. Come on,
Yeah.
But speaking of production, LVP asked Ariana about Stassi, and I said, because she's probably seen the dailies of the day before. Do you know what I mean? Because otherwise, how would she know to be like, I hear y'all got beef? Or maybe she overheard the conversation that they had, but Lisa was long gone by then.
She also could just know how she herself feels about Stassi.
Yeah.
When have you heard her act any differently this year? She told the woman, you can get this food to go when she was in her restaurant. So daily schmaily, she doesn't need to see anything. Yeah.
Convenient timing. It was great, though. To talk to Ariana about it, which Ariana, this is kind of my sort of, she's like backsliding a little bit back into the Ariana that I don't really care for, about how I don't really like her and she's an expert on how to live your life stuff, which this is not as egregious as she gets later.
I liked it. She seemed real comfortable to say, like, I don't really like her. I mean, that's straight up. We get tired of people pussyfooting around on this, not bringing up something when you can just ask somebody. Ariana, after telling Stassi, I don't really give a fuck about you. I'm here for Katie. Now when asked about from someone else, is just like, I don't really care for her. She acts like this, and I'm not about that. There it is.
Well,
Case closed.
It's fine, right? Like it's fine in this way because she's not mean. But like later on when she does Jack's throws, she just gets mean in a way that I find it to just be kind of beneath her because we know she's gotten her antidepressant anxiety cocktail worked out. We know she's done some talk therapy. She's in a good place. And to see her backslide into this like mean, I take sketch comedy very seriously, is just, gross. But in this moment, I think she is the right foil to Stassi's queen bee energy. If anybody can do it can be her.
I'd agree too. I think she's probably even more charming while saying this stuff to Lisa than she is in her roast performance later on.
Yeah, because she wasn't very charming in her culturally appropriated boxer braids. But then I wrote, Lisa asked her assistant about the paint. Katie. She asked Katie. And of course, Katie vomits all of the fight stuff. And I know that Lisa's not her mom. But in that same tactic about how you don't tell your mother the worst of the worst about your partner because your mom can't unhear stuff, the same way with Lisa. Like Lisa's sort of internalizing it and be like, okay, well, I'm building this dossier on how doomed this relationship is. So yeah, just keep feeding me information. And whenever it falls apart, I can just open it up and be like, see, I told you so. And it's like, Katie, don't be telling people that. We can all see it. We can all see.
We can also see Jax's supportive tops that he had to borrow from his girlfriend, and that's just cute.
Little camisole. Yeah. He's wearing a little cami underneath.
Yeah.
He's had more boob jobs than Brittany, which, to his defense, she's only had one. So, any more than one is.
Any chance to defend Jax, though? Sunday Rose on the case.
I will. I'm coming. And I felt a little sorry for Scheana here momentarily because she talks about how lonely she is. Shay is back on his bullshit, staying gone, not answering text messages, snapping at her about leave me alone. I'm trying to make music or whatever the fuck. And she doesn't have anybody to talk to because I wouldn't say one goddamn word to those unhinged witches over there about anything because just like she says, they'll get drunk and use it against her. And so she's just kind of lonely.
It's kind of a reason not to be really good friends with them, I would think.
Why doesn't she call her best friend Ellie? They've been friends for 8 years. She should call her best friend Ellie and talk to her friend Ellie about it.
She knows other people and she complains about the people she spends the most time with all the time. So
supposedly she knows other people. Those people are not advantageous to her reality star career. So Ellie Schmidt.
Right.
But it is all about Katie and we have 1 month. What is your prediction? Do you think we're going to get the Bubba's wedding at the very end? Like we kind of did Scheana's like 2 years ago or last year or whatever?
So we've got 8 or 9 left. I'm thinking it's not the finale, like the regular season finale. I'm guessing there's at least a couple after. Yeah. So about 19-ish, I'm guessing.
Okay. All right. Well, we're chugging.
I hope. I hope we have a little after, but I don't know.
Well, yeah, we'll see. Because while Scheana is sitting there talking about, oh, woe is me, everybody hates me, nobody is sweet, I have no friends, Stassi's like, cheers to being in the best friend spot ever. And I'm like,
Oh, yeah, I did.
I hope lightning doesn't strike you right now, bitch. You are the worst.
The best friendship spot ever. But I love that Scheana is so upset that somebody just wants to talk about their wedding. Wedding. Katie. All we have to do is talk about someone's wedding. Can you imagine if somebody had just made a giant deal about their wedding and went on for, I don't know, a whole calendar year about it between a first party and the actual wedding? I wonder where else in the lore of Vanderpump history could we look to find someone who's making a big deal about their wedding?
But
I didn't use that word, everyone. This guy did not use the word bridezilla. Let's just put that out there.
At least though, Scheana didn't have everybody else talking about her wedding, right? Like she was the only one like, wow, wedding. But now it's like Katie is wow wedding, Stassi is wow wedding, Kristen is wow wedding. It's like, she's like, what about my wedding? No, girl.
It's like, well, all your friends had jobs when they were in your wedding. Katie's friends don't have jobs, and so they don't have anything else to talk about.
They're spending money like they do, though. So
yeah,
James has to leave the party. So let's take a break right here, and we'll come back to see Max. He still exists, and we can talk about James's quote residency at the Redberry.
And way to go, Tom, on the $8,600 for Haiti. Way to go.
Oh, that's right. Thank you, Tom, for raising money for Haiti. I really like how production just continues to troll James whenever he's like, this is my new pump. And the camera pans around to just an empty fucking lobby. Like nobody there. I imagine it'll fill up later, but they never miss an opportunity to just put him in his place, which good.
I kind of don't like it when they do that because it makes me admire James's like spirit to be like, this is my new thing. Like, cause he's always like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to be great. I'm going to work hard at this. Like he has this kind of like unflappable on one side, like, positivity about what he is going to do. Now, I mean, it should have maybe some limits that it doesn't have.
Yeah. Well,
but there is something to that.
You call it unflappable positivity. I call it unearned confidence. So, tomato. They're synonyms in James's case because him and his like blank-eyed lady are standing there and he says everything but drinking, which I didn't know if he was just sort of like reiterating the fact that he is not drinking anymore or if this party was like, because we see Katie and Stassi at a dispensary later. It's like, oh, is this like a fun themed? I didn't really know, but he's not drinking now. Remember, we hadn't gotten to the scenes from next week yet. He's not drinking.
Mm-hmm.
Don't forget. Max is there. Did you forget that Max existed? Because I did.
Not at all.
Like, yeah, we just came from Tom's party. He was like, what party? But he does scold for James for being a bit harsh about whatever he was being harsh about. And I like it.
James is being a dick about Scheana coming up to him and, stirring the shit about Raquel. And he's like, worry about your own marriage that almost failed like 3 times. He's like, all right, buddy, maybe that's a little much. Like, why?
I mean, but he's very proud as tumbleweeds roll by, crickets are chirping. He's very proud of his new influences. But back to Sir, their host is down because, as we have mentioned already, Sir, Lala is missing. I just want to remind everyone listening, she tried to quit. She tried to quit. And Lisa was like, no, stay. And she was reluctantly like, okay, I guess. Girl, she should have let her quit. She's got another source of income now, obviously.
They're swamped. They're swamped now.
Oh, they're swamped. And Scheana, this is the tackiest shit. If I had to watch it again, I would fast forward it with the Katie and Scheana thing.
Is she tiptoeing around wanting to talk to her about drinking at first?
Kinda. Well, she's talking about how y'all only fight when you're drinking, so it's like relationship advice a little bit.
Drinking this is the second time around for me. I was like, maybe she tried to do that one thing, and I'm not getting Scheana's back. I've already said this is a horrendous thing to say, I think. But, like, I think she tried to talk to her about a big issue, like, to everyone that she even asked other people about, like, her drinking. And then her way of backpedaling is like, oh, by the way, Kristen's asking me about the money, and I don't want to spend that much money. And now I'm just word vomiting towards you, and I can't stop myself from talking while I'm on camera right now, because if I stop talking, then the camera stops rolling, and I shrivel up and die. And
yeah, but like she had 2 separate beefs. Like
that's what I'm.
Kristen, yeah, she
Right.
could have just talked about the second one. She could have just like left the money text out altogether. She did not have to say that. But I think Scheana needs so badly for someone else to validate her struggle and to say, "Oh, hey girl, I'm really sorry that you feel this way," or, "Oh, hey, I see." Like, she needs somebody else to see what she's going through. But it was the absolute worst person ever to talk to about the money.
Is her mom producer out of town this week or something? Because
I
she is
guess.
just, even for Scheana, it is like a
Yeah.
little bit more. And I know there's some Shay stuff going on, she mentioned also, but like there's just, even for Scheana, another level of like, I can't get, because I mean, if the issue is $500, I'm not saying that's not, to me, that's a lot of money, but from some of the numbers we hear about them back then, I feel like she can come
I
up with the
don't think it is.
$500. I don't know.
I mean, just the venue alone was $1,500.
That's what I thought her main
So
beef was, the splitting the house 3 ways.
I think it's like the whole the thousands of dollars is what she said the whole event costed. Which, I mean, we don't need to get in the weeds of it all, too. But
No, it's horrible she brought it up, and
when
that's it. I mean, that's
and when you say too about like there's Shay stuff going on too, we know a lot. We've learned a lot about Scheana and the way that she kind of guards against really telling the truth. So this is probably her projecting all of the worry, all of this, because she can't help but like wonder, like, oh my God, is Shay going to disappear again? Oh my God, is it
that's what I
relapse? Oh
mean.
my God.
Yeah.
And so all of that is kind of getting dumped on this. And when in truth, we already know. You and I already know what Shay's doing. We already know. Like, we're no dummies. The people at home know what he's doing. Everybody else knows what he's doing. You don't got to hide it from us, okay? We know what this man's doing. And so just tell us the truth and stop talking to Katie about money, because
Yeah, just go, hey, how's your tables? I mean, that's it. You can just do
yeah,
that for a couple hours and then get out of there. That's all
yeah.
you can do.
Or, how about the money for the Haitians? Isn't that awesome? We raised some money for the
There's
Haitians.
plenty.
Love it.
Do
Love
you
that.
consider braids cultural appropriation? I don't know if I do. It's really weird. Then they have a debate about that.
Well, ask the culture after Kim Kardashian went around claiming that she invented boxer braids, and we could have a different conversation. That's a different podcast. But at the Guild, because both Iggy Azalea, around this time, as a matter of fact, both Iggy Azalea and Kim Kardashian, and I believe Miley Cyrus, took a lot of public flack for appropriating these like women of color and ethnic hairstyles without attributing to them. And, my culture is not a costume, blah, 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 all of that. So, but like I said, different podcast. The Guild is where Jax has his birthday dinner.
R.I.P.
Oh, is it closed?
Just 1 year for the Guild. Sorry, guys.
Oh, dang. This is so different from Kentucky. We hadn't stopped since we got here. Girl, okay. I thought Brittany's accent was bad, but oof, her and her lipstick are doing a thing. I do like how they both ordered a medium rare steak, though.
I was going to say this. I even have a note for Sunday in here. What do you think? Medium steak for Jax again?
He's such a wimp. Eat it like a man, okay? Eat it like a man, which I will remind rare, but I'll allow medium rare.
Yeah, but they start, like he's prepping for that roast, and I love his once again. I feel like it's been 2 or 3 episodes since he said it about himself, but like, I mean, I haven't killed anybody.
You haven't killed
There's
anybody,
always that.
Jeff. So
There's always I haven't killed anybody.
And this is where, too, like she says, "Ooh, we hadn't stopped. I'm just so tired. Get her a hotel room." Jax knows all the things. Brittany knows all the things that can be said about this man. Why in the world would you want your mama first front row for this? And this is also, too, why I am always side-eyeing Brittany, because this makes for good television. She understands what her mom is going to do. She understands the conflict it's going to create between Jax and her mother. She knows, and she is playing right into it. And Just get her a hotel room. And
There,
then
there's a good chance old Sherry's like, no, I'll just stay with y'all. Let me stay with y'all. I miss my girl. I want to stay with her. You can just sleep on the couch a
no,
couple days. Oh,
I
we
mean
have
for
a
one
birthday
night.
party. Like, oh, okay. Well, I want to go with you to the birthday party. I mean,
No.
she can be insistent, possibly. So it's hard to
Well, I
combat that
meant
with a new mom in your life.
right, but I just meant get her a hotel for one night. For one night, get her at the Beverly Hills Hotel, the BH Dillingham McKay area, whatever, so that it can seem like, because like I said this about one of the McBee girlfriends about how she doesn't know how to family. Jax doesn't know how to family. He should have brought her coffee yesterday morning. He shouldn't be bitching about like, whatever she's saying. He absolutely frame it like, I'm giving you this gift. I know you're tired. We're going to be out really late. It doesn't even start until like 10 o'clock. We know you need to rest up. Frame it like that so that this woman is not sitting there hearing about all of your jail time, all of your homosexual dalliances, every woman that you've slept with. Like, like frame it. And he tries to like pepper in a little bit of seasoning here about how he made report cards and he cheated on his ACT. That stuff is minor league compared to what she's about to hear.
I just think I can see Sherry being insistent and kind of not taking no for an answer. And also, if she hears that the guy that her daughter just traveled cross country to move into is going to have a party where all his friends divulge his innermost secrets, fuck yes, she wants to be up front and center
I'd
on
have
that.
been
And she
insistent.
is not going to miss it at all.
Brittany should have insisted, though. She just should have said, Mom, don't even tell her about it. Like, just like, because it just spares so much headache. We see that the headache carries over to next episode, too, and it gets kind of dark. We thought the G.I. Joes and Army hose was bad. Wait till you hear about, Jax's cocaine habit.
It's just not a great title. It doesn't really flow. I don't know.
Yeah.
Hose isn't
I
fun.
mean, it rhymes, I guess.
It does. I'm joking.
Scheana and Shay are going through their material, and so they invite Sandoval to kind of run some lines here, right? Like, this seems like the easiest job ever to jank on Jax Taylor. I mean, I get it that being in front of a crowd is really hard and kind of getting like a flow of it all is hard, but people have made it their part-time job to tease Jax for the last 5 seasons. Just go back and watch some of the material you've done in the last few years and write it down. This seems like the easiest assignment ever.
Yeah. I mean, this is all a little bit out of their comfort zone, right? Like, Sheena's not booty popping and singing. She's got to stand up and talk. That's new. Like, Shay has to talk. That's pretty new to him. So everybody's got, they're a little bit out of their comfort zone. And it's kind of like, I can see you not loving this kind of party. Like, hey, by the way, we're all going to get up and say something in front of everybody. Are you comfortable with doing that? See? Well, that's how I think every single one of them is feeling on here.
No, I wouldn't have any problems getting up in front of someone and saying like nice things about them, but it's the roast part that for me personally, I find to be really, really.
You just brought up something nobody's
cringy.
Talking about.
I know, but we're talking about standing in front of these people. These people are in front of people every day. They are on a millions of people watch their show. Like they do appearances. They know how to be in front of people. It just seems like all of a sudden now they can't think of anything to jank on Jax Taylor about. Like, come on,
I think comedy adds a little extra pressure to the people.
Well, comedy is generous. Then Sandoval swings the conversation back around to, and now all of a sudden, Katie is the one who's leading the charge. She's the one that everybody's enabling. She's the one pulling all the strings. We had this exact same conversation 2 years ago about Stassi Schroeder. So I guess the power sands are shifting a little. And I wonder if anybody has told Miss Stassi Schroeder that she is no longer being perceived as the head bitch in charge.
Yeah, I definitely think so. And I mean, just in the world of the show, the real HBIC does not care for one of them, has hired the other one as a close personal assistant. So there you are.
Exactly. Yeah. For sure. Lisa might have something to say about it. And this is another trope that we did not, I guess we touched on it a little bit in the OC about accusing someone of being an alcoholic or having a drinking problem, which is a really hard thing to put out there. It's a really like a personal decision. And I'll say this. I don't know if Katie has a drinking problem, but I know she has a problem drinking. She has a problem with drinking, especially when she gets to a point that she has sort of lost her control about it. But that's a very serious thing to say about a human being, that they have a drinking problem, or they're like the insinuation is that they're an alcoholic. Like,
Yeah,
on
especially
TV.
to say on TV. That's what I was going
Yeah.
to say. Yeah.
Like,
You're not
that was
out
part of
back, like, having a smoke with your other coworkers. Like, did you hear about Gerald last night? Like, that shit got, it's like,
well, that
this
was part
is,
of the reason on OC, like, that Tamara and Shannon were so mad at each other, because Tamara spent almost the entire last season calling her a drunk and an alcoholic and a degenerate, and go get another DUI, and like all of this really, really nasty stuff, which, in fairness, Shannon did get a DUI with her dog in the front seat, but it was just really malicious. And if you are dealing with an actual addiction, a person who is actively in a disease, like, you wouldn't be like, yeah, man, go back to your cancer diagnosis. Like, fuck off with your diabetes. Like, and it's just a really, really disgusting way to talk about someone who is
yeah.
actively, like, I mean, if you want to talk about somebody who's in the disease of addiction, we need to swing that camera right on Shay and see what he's doing at that studio till 3 a.m. ignoring Scheana's text messages. But I digress.
Well, if you're trying to just avoid the boring weed shop, like, cool, great, so happy for you, California. You just get to walk in, get whatever. We even got free joints. We got stuff to help you orgasm. Here's a doctor. He'll just bing bong, you're in.
Well,
blah, blah, blah. California's cool. Anyway.
Yeah, but you still had to get a prescription back then too, though. So, but I do.
Well, that's
enjoy
why I
that.
mentioned the doctor saying bing bong, you're in. There you go.
The reason that Stassi presents for her medical marijuana is she needs to get off sleeping pills, and Katie needs to be less of a bitch. That. So those are chronic problems, apparently. Like, sleeping pills and being a bitch about it.
They're not chronic problems, but there is a chronic solution.
Okay, both can be true. People who were born like after 1995 don't understand that chronic reference, I bet. But
Jesus, my bad.
We do get a conversation about how to spell toking. And Stassi asked you spell it like yolk. Like TOLK.
Oh, I thought you meant yolk like the workout.
Oh, I thought she meant like egg yolk. I was like, no, girl, we're not trying.
Yeah, but never heard of toking. That's another one for her. So very weird.
Yeah, I have heard of toking, but TOH or THO, never heard of it. Brittany, did they hand these hats out at the beginning of the season and was like, here, everybody gets one, and some people are putting them in their back pocket? Like, Brittany's hat is so warped and so weird looking. Like, what are you doing? Are you having a bad hair day? Just put it in a bun, girl. Weird.
I think she is having a bad hair day, yeah.
And it seems like Sherry might have some material for the roast here.
That's what I'm saying. She wants a piece of this. She's ready to go. And, little Kentucky muffin gets brought up, and Sherry must ask a question at that one. Like, pardon me, what's that rumor about the two of you?
So, was it that last season or was it this season?
That's this. I think it was the very beginning of this season, because she was working, because Brittany wasn't working there last year, and she was working there when it happened.
Okay, because I was like, didn't Sherry watch last season? But I guess if it was the very first, she wouldn't have seen that footage yet. So she doesn't want her daughter involved in those kinds of rumors because she's a fucking homophobe. It's 2000.
She'll pack her bags.
It is not. It's not 1996, Sherry. You need to know. Even if you feel this way on the inside, you should know better than to say this shit on a television show, a reality show, on Bravo, sitting in your daughter's West Hollywood apartment. Brittany should have prepped her, should have done something.
That's who I'm gonna, let's say Sherry doesn't know, or whatever stupid excuse she has for thinking this way, let's say she just comes out, she just entered from, the year 50 and says this horrible stuff. Like, well, her daughter that's in her 20s right there is just like, yeah, I know. Like, no. You're free to say something right here, I would think. Let's do it. A lot of people have had to say stuff to their parents about saying certain things, and it's just, you got to do it. I don't know that she didn't, but I didn't see it.
Well, I'm going to say this. we do know that Jax came out in support of Spencer Pratt, who was notoriously conservative. And so it could be possible that both Jax and Brittany, even back then, were a little bit more conservative leaning, and that maybe they still had some feelings about same-sex relationships or queer relationships. So maybe Brittany doesn't disagree with her mother, even though she didn't disagree enough to let Kristen not chow down on her Kentucky muffin.
Yeah.
But, I'm just saying. Lots of people to think that like girl on girl is not really like gay stuff, especially if you're performing gay stuff for your boyfriend or whatever. But like that's a different one.
Well, that was what we were talking about when Jax was upset. There are some people probably who were like, well, that's not the same as her walking in on like you and another dude,
Yeah. I
But
think that's probably
it
what
is.
Brittany thinks too. Her mom, on the other hand, has a zero tolerance for any kind of gay stuff. And she's like, no, I'll pack her back to take her right back to Kentucky. And we go straight to the roast. And Brittany, pull your mom aside and tell her to take that fucking lipstick off. It's catching every light in the room. It is so glaringly obvious. You can't see anything else besides this woman's lipstick.
Sherry was wearing that and I'll just older reference you again. Like when Harper Valley PTA was on, she found that lipstick shade and she stuck with it, and she's doing it right now, whether her hair is blonde or dark and her skin is light or dark. That frosting is staying just like it has for 45 years, and that's where it's going to stay.
Listen, Sherry is going to go to her grave with that kind of tan. Remember
that's
that
what I'm saying.
Something About Mary? She's something about Mary. Like she is, yeah. So Kristen
she's Magda
about being 40. Yeah. That is, yes. Let me write that down. Kristen teases him about being 40, but he's only 37. So, ease up, everybody. 37 is not 40. And, Kristen's fine. Like, whatever. And she kind of like introduces Ariana. And then, of course, this is the Ariana that I don't like, that takes a quick dig at it. And it's like, and maybe this is just my personal preference too, but I need like the joke not to be so mean that I feel weird about laughing at it. I need it to be just mean enough where it's like, okay, there's a little bit of room. But when you get into that real mean, that is where everybody's like, ugh, can I laugh? Should I laugh? I don't think it's really funny. And so that's where Ariana went. And that's my least favorite version of her.
Well, she did come up, on her heels a little bit, because Kristen mentioned the two of them sleeping with the same person at the same time and that she had upgraded. So I guess she did come out like wanting to throw a punch for sure.
Right.
Which is kind of roast.
Yeah,
that is what you do.
Exactly. She was like, she upgraded. She didn't talk about Ariana explicitly. She was like, I upgraded to Carter, which questionable. But I don't know. Like, that's what I'm saying. Kristen's was mean, but not mean where it was cutting or like, I don't know. It's hard for me because you know how I feel about stand-up comedy generally. And a roast is the absolute worst of the worst. Oh my God, it is so terrible. I just hate for anybody to be embarrassed, and that's all a roast is. Ugh, yuck. But, I mean, it's fine. Ariana's jokes are fine. Katie's are fairly mild. She doesn't really go in real hot.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to see the whole thing because, I mean, if they're up here with several jokes apiece, because because that was a horrible thing Jack said about Schwartz and Katie, like my dream is for somebody to, for him to rail all these women. Like I'm about to watch you get railed by all these folks verbally right now. And like, I would love to see, what came after that. I love Sherry whispering over to Brittany about this, like, because Katie talks about that he gave her some sunglasses also. And Sherry's like, he also gave me some sunglasses.
Well,
which is just awesome.
How many goddamn pairs of sunglasses has Jax Taylor stole? He gave one to Katie, he gave one to Brittany, and one to her mom.
It's just his calling card. Yeah, he's like the Joker. So. He just leaves his sunglasses everywhere.
Scheana brings up his misuse of idioms, and then the package that follows.
Wonderful.
So fun. So good. Mm-hmm. And then Sandoval, Jesus Christ in the manger, goes hard with cocaine jokes, his lesbian girlfriend, his collage of Coke faces that he does. And like he went in hard despite Kristen's previous warning.
Well, he should go the hardest. He's known him the longest. That's kind of that's how that goes. You know him the best. You got the most material. You're going to go out. I unfortunately know what he means when he said, I can't feel my teeth. That's a thing that can happen. And
Jack said it again when he got up from the chair too. He was like, oh my God, I can't feel my teeth. He said it again. So
yeah. And the picture
Stassi's
was really funny. Yeah.
Yeah. I think I even did a post about it on our Instagram at some point, that exact picture.
Oh yeah, you did.
Stassi's is pretty funny. She used props, which, gotta love that. Gotta love a little bit of prop comedy. Like her and Gallagher are up there just like doing their bits. And Lisa couldn't be fucking bothered, so she sent a video about his dick pic.
Yeah, but she hits it pretty hard too, like stealing, going behind bars, sending out dick pics, boom, boom, boom. Like she's hitting the high points in a real big way.
Yeah. There was a handful of themes that happened, and everybody sort of like plucked it on their version of one of his grievances. Brittany's turn, stick to cheerleading competitions, girl. I think it's good. Schwartz too, though, went pretty hard on the homoerotica.
I like what Brittany's talking about because you've alluded to it like 100 times since we've been doing this. And probably it was the main reason he and Lala didn't hook up. Like, maybe in certain situations, things need a while to warm up. And that's what Brittany's talking about, I think.
Oh, I thought she was talking about him warming her up. Like, you know how like you talk about like preheating the oven? That like, because that's a pretty common phrase when you're talking about warming up a woman, like preheating the oven to like the foreplay of it all. And I thought she was sort of alluding to the fact that he just never did any foreplay, is what I was thinking. That's what I thought. He just gets
No, I think he's talking about like, you got to do this, you got to do that, you got to give it a minute. And she's like, yeah, I know what you mean. Like, we've had to do that several times.
Yeah, okay, I could see that too. I just was like the phrase like preheating the oven is typically like that. But Schwartz talks about he slept with a man and is this homosexual affair, and that it's only gay if you like it.
Yeah.
And that made me laugh. Brittany,
but you got to get them bills paid.
Shit, though. Yeah, gotta pay them bills. They aren't having any of it. Like, and I cannot imagine Brittany sitting there, which I don't know, she may be enjoying it, or at least Jack sitting there, like his wheels turning. He knows that this is about to be over. He's gonna have to confront her. He's gonna have to like walk up to her, and it's like this just seems. This man, you're about to marry this man. Well, she doesn't know that yet, but this man you have committed to. Like, you are this, you've decided that this is your man, and this is what you want your mom to hear about him. It is so bizarre to me that she allowed this thing to happen. But it is what it is. Kristen tried to head it off at the pass, though. She tried to tell Sandoval, hey, man, don't do that shit. It's not cool. But he was like, fuck off.
Yeah, she's still not like denying it in this conversation. So I'm just going to assume everyone that we're watching knows exactly what happened. You and I have had our guesses, but yeah, I'm guessing everyone on here knows if it did or didn't happen. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it totally did. It totally did. But we didn't see her getting after Schwartz, because Schwartz was kind of the most offensive, right? Like, because
it didn't involve her, though.
Yes, I know.
That's the only reason she cares.
Yeah. Fair enough, too, because Brittany's mom, like the worst of it, the most offensive part was just it was him kissing a guy. And I'm with Jax. I'm like, that's the worst of this, not the allusion to the cocaine habit, not the possible STD spree that he has dumped on your daughter.
Yeah, I don't even care about the cocaine habit.
Yeah.
The cheating, the stealing, the repeated demeaning of women, like the mistreatment of women over and over again. Well, he also might have made out with a guy in Miami. Like, well, whatever, all that other stuff can be swept under the rug, but that was the worst.
Yeah, if only that was the least of your transgressions. But it's going to get worse for him next week, because that's kind of where we end it there. And so next, Jax needs an athletic fit when they get their suits fitting because
Yes.
apparently he's fat now. That's the joke too. LVP warns Katie about her shitty friends. Like, man, these folks are not having it. Saucy tries to pick a fight with Ariana and to no avail, loses. Sherry continues to be a homophobic piece of shit, and James is up to his old tricks.
Mm-hmm.
So next week looks like a pretty good one. This was a good one. I had to like watch through my fingers a couple of times.
Yeah.
But this was a
well,
good
there's
one. Next
comedy.
week, though,
anytime you see them perform, you don't really want to take part.
And I don't love people to get embarrassed on purpose. I don't know. Did you have any because the pasts?
I didn't. I'm sure the roast are getting to be that way. Like, I think this is probably sinking its way into the past, but I really didn't. So I'd love to hear some. Yeah.
Well, I had to wiggle it around too. Schwartz makes a comment about NSYNC, about Sandoval's coat, and like that was the past to them. Even then, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
NSYNC now is nostalgia, but that would have been a fairly old reference at that point. Also, maybe this is just the past for me, but Jaeger bombs, bleh, oh my God, I cannot. And they were so big, and Brittany just takes it like a champ. Like, oh my God. Speaking of a THO, which I guess is where she said it.
That is where they.
Brittany's chokers. That's a very specific moment in time. Having to see a doctor in California to get a medical marijuana card instead of just like walking into a shop and just buying whatever you want. That is not a thing anymore. You can just buy whatever you want now.
It's true.
And
it's true.
Ariana's braids, because their culture is not your costume, Ariana. Okay. So for my chump, I could not have Brittany's mom 2 weeks in a row. Okay. I thought that was mean. She's a guest here, so I gave it to Scheana for being tacky as hell about money.
The exact same thing I did. I have another backup, but that's the way I took it also. Man.
Okay. Who was your backup?
Confetti cannons, because they was just, Sandoval was just pointing them right at people and blasting them, and I was like, I'm going to do this on the behalf of my co-host. She would not appreciate a confetti cannon, I don't think, right next to her at a party. No.
And also, too, somebody's going to sweep that up. That is
they mentioned it. That is hard to clean up. Yes. Yeah.
Somebody has to sweep that up. Yeah, that's a good one. Confetti cannon.
What about your LVP here?
Okay. This is controversial. You're going to disagree, and you're going to accuse me of being an apologist. But it's Jax. For being a good sport. I mean, he could have pitched a fit about her going. He could have been an asshole about a lot of things, and he didn't. He copped it, and, I may have to rescind this next week, but I think all in all, he was doing his best to put a foot forward.
Worst news possible is I'm not going to give you shit about it. In fact, I wholly agree with you.
Wait.
He was a good sport. I don't think he tried to bullshit his way out of anything that happened. He wasn't up there like, no. He didn't do that the whole time. He just took it. And he hates that the biggest problem she has with all the shit he's done is kissing a guy or whatever, they really talked about. So for all those reasons, Jax Taylor, I believe for the second time this season, is my LVP.
I was about to ask, how many times have you given Jax the LVP?
I'm going to say it belongs on one hand still, for sure.
Yeah. For sure. I mean.
And always with great fanfare.
Yeah, because we already know how you feel about him.
Yeah.
By the time you guys hear this, the In the City season finale will have already aired. Emily and I are just high-fiving each other that we can be done with this direct. So make sure that you've listened to it. And then tune in for our Real Housewives. I'm going to make Jeff watch that too some, because I always delight in his horror at what these shows are doing and what they have normalized about women and our culture. So, as always, if you have any beef or any compliments, or you want to tell Jeff your business, jeff@pinopod.com. Otherwise, find us at Take a Pinot Pod on YouTube, on Instagram, and TikTok, because we are there sometimes.
Yeah, and I'm going to look forward to my invitation because I'm guessing you and Emily are having a party about not doing in the city anymore the way y'all have been talking about it lately.
It's just become so tedious and it's really hard. And now I know that they're already filming Summer House and all of our faves are back in Summer House. It's like, what am I doing here in the damn fall in New York City with these duds when I could be partying down in the Hamptons in the summer with these awesome folks? So, it's over. I'm tired of it. Amanda, whatever. So, but all right, we will catch you on the flip side, everybody.
Bye.